Hello, welcome to Ring Takes here, episode 61. Coming off a big weekend. Joined by Brian and Lewis as always. I'm Daniel. Thank you guys for joining me, watching, tuning in. Let's get into it. A big PLE WWE Backlash in France that took place on Saturday. And I just want to say, without a doubt, the crowd was the MVP of WWE Backlash France. Like, I have never seen an environment like that. We've seen crowds hijack a show for better or for worse at times. And this was just a feel-good moment for WWE. And the wrestlers, everybody involved, like, I was excited just by the crowd. I don't know how you guys felt about the crowd. Let's get your thoughts on it. How you guys feel about the crowd and seeing that type of atmosphere for WWE Backlash France?
Well, like I stated in the chat, Nick Khan, that man is a real one because he was the one that came up with the idea of taking these smaller PLEs and bringing them overseas to these European crowds and such. And let's just be honest right now and put it out there. I mean, when it comes to professional wrestling, European crowds are better than American crowds, and we've seen that. No, you'll agree. They have more. They have more passion. They make the
I didn't know this was going to turn into an anti-American.
It's not supposed to be.
I didn't know we were
JBL.
I didn't know we were going rogue,
it's not meant,
going off
it's not
the
meant
rails,
to be anti-American.
insulting the crowds of the USA. I didn't know that.
It's not meant to be anti. Yeah, I know you should play, but
it's a small-minded talk that doesn't let them expand to the global market.
You know, obviously, I mean, as much shit as I talk about our country, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But if we look at the crowds as far as professional wrestling goes, I mean, these overseas crowds have been showing up to these shows. I mean. This was essentially like pretty much like a soccer game. It was a soccer crowd. I mean, and I've seen videos of these of soccer events, whether it's during the Olympics and such, and how crazy the crowd got. I mean, that's essentially what this was. And I don't know if you guys watched SmackDown, but I watched SmackDown and I watched how the crowd was even then. I saw them, singing Randy Orton's theme song, which is something in all the years I've watched Randy Orton, I've never seen him get serenaded like that. But yeah, as far as the show goes, from the very beginning with Kevin Owens' entrance, I mean, you could tell the crowd was into it and the crowd was ready to go, and a great crowd can enhance a match in such a positive manner. We always talk about the back. Sorry to dampen the mood a little bit, but we always talk about back in 2020 with the pandemic and how there was no crowd and how a lot of the matches and the quality of the product suffered because of it. And then we fast forward now to about 4 years later, and you see what a great crowd can do to enhance your show, and from all of the entrances to the participation in the matches. I mean, I will admit that at some point it did get a little bit extra, like them chanting after every 2 count, which I actually looked up, and apparently that's tradition in France. Apparently there was like a famous French wrestling commentator that chanted that after every 2 count. So apparently that's tradition for them. So, but I thought it was just a little bit extra, but other than that, like the ticker says, the crowd were the true MVPs of the show. They made the show so much better. And I'll even make this point with Jay. If you've never watched wrestling and you saw Jay Uso's entrance for the first time on that show, you would think he's your top guy, because that's how great that entrance was. And we'll get to it when we get into that match specifically, but. The crowd, man. There's not much more positive you can say about it.
Yeah, man.
I forget which PLE it was. I want to say it was Elimination Chamber, but it also might have been when they first did the Puerto Rico last year. But it's like, I don't specifically remember when Triple H said it, but he was like, if we come to your country and you guys make noise, we'll come back. And for this being the first time them going to, well, I don't know if their first time ever performing in France, but at least
they've done like European tours and stuff like
yeah,
that.
I feel like they've
But
done house shows, yeah, but never like a full
not like a major show, but like house shows and
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
And they did exactly that. And like Brian said, it was like from the first match to the counts to songs to everything. You literally saw cameras rumbling because trying to perform like AJ Styles, and it's just like from the crowd just going nuts in there. And mind you, this isn't even in their like major city. Well, I guess it was their third largest city in the country, but so it's like,
I think imagine
if they took over like a soccer stadium or something like that, how crazy the crowd would be. And without even knowing what they were chanting, they were just so interactive, saying all the songs and everything. And it was like crazy. I think I do agree though. Like, I think at some points with the constant chanting, you're like, I think at some points you were kind of focusing more on the crowd a little. For some matches, not all of them. But it was still just a great element. Like you felt the energy through the screen. Like I don't think I've ever, besides maybe like the PR one.
Yeah, the Puerto Rico one.
Yeah, with the Bad Bunny one, I don't think I felt like a crowd literally popping out through the screen. Like you were
we get a little bit of that in America, like with Chicago or New York and Brooklyn, like certain events like that. But
yeah, definitely Chicago. But I feel like to that magnitude, I feel like we haven't felt. Besides like a WrestleMania, maybe
it's a different scale of what they did in France. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, for that being their first time, they showed out, and it was a great thing to be recording. Like Brian said, that Jay entrance, that whole segment alone was like, you would have thought that was like Roman Reigns like 2.0 or something. Like it was massive.
Like the crowd, kudos to the crowd in France. I can't say enough. As Brian said, it was like a soccer. If you ever watch Premier League or any foreign soccer games and they're on TV, like I go to the spot that's close to me and they have a Spanish soccer on in the background all the time, and the crowds are nuts. So now to see that in a wrestling atmosphere element where it's closed, everyone's focused on wrestling, to see that type of energy provided and given to wrestling was awesome to see. The crowd chants, everything, how involved they were. And I think that was something that they've really tapped into with this kind of overseas PLE tour, where these crowds don't have these type of events there. Even when they have their own promotions in their towns, they're not this big. And WWE is really trying to go worldwide. I'm wondering, this is just the start of it. Like you're tapping into that European market. They're going to go to London. They're going to be in Toronto. They're going to be in Germany, I believe, in July or August for the bat. Just a continuation of growing the product. And it's like, especially the ties with UFC, because UFC does a lot of that. UFC goes overseas a lot, to Brazil, to Tokyo, to Japan, and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if WWE is ever going to try to do that and just expand. Maybe South America is going to get a couple PLEs a year. Maybe Asia gets a couple PLEs a year. If this Africa, if this is going to be the grand scan of how this crowds are going to be reacting and giving this energy to the product, I don't see nothing negative about doing this. Like this is just only going to be positive for the wrestlers. And even with this small card, how many matches were there? 5? You don't need to carry your whole roster over there to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's another beneficial thing that they can do, and I think that even with this upcoming brand split, what we'll get into later, you can take SmackDown overseas, you can take Raw overseas, maybe even NXT to a lesser degree go overseas, especially with NXT UK. They can tap into those markets, those European markets, those Asian markets, and really grow this product to a different level that we haven't seen. But that crowd in France, to the start to the end of it, was intense, into everything, and genuine wrestling fans. And sometimes when you have these US events, it goes quiet. You don't know if they're really into the match or whatever the case may be. In France, there was no question of that. Like they were into every moment, making noise, cheering, and it was awesome to see. So kudos to the France crowd. Major props. In WWE, go there again. Go to Puerto Rico. Go to Australia. Keep going to these places because they're getting that type of energy, and it's dope to see even on TV.
Yeah.
So let's get into not our first match of the night, but our main event of the night. Cody Rhodes retaining the WWE Championship over AJ Styles, and the introductions for this match were crazy as well. What do you guys think about the introductions for this, the match itself, and Cody retaining?
I mean, we're gonna. I mean, we might as well go back to the original topic because that's the first thing I'm going to talk about with this match. Because man,
Change it back.
I guarantee you that this was the one time where I bet you AJ Styles wished he wasn't a heel. Because that reaction he got, and you could tell too, he was trying to keep a serious demeanor, but you could tell that like deep down inside, he's like, damn, they really.
First of all, I didn't even know that was a thing with the phenomenal chant. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Really, that's another traditional tradition out there in France. When you say phenomenal, you have to sing that song, or that song is associated with the word phenomenal.
Like, that was the moment the camera was shaking and everything was going. I'm like, this is crazy.
I'm like Daniel said, like a soccer crowd. That's essentially what it was. I mean, like you said, the camera shaking. And then even before that, when Cody Rhodes' music finished and the crowd kept singing his lyrics up until the ring introduction. I mean, like you can tell they were ready for the main event. But to the match itself, it was a tremendous match. I think they went 20 minutes, maybe a little shorter, a little longer. But it was definitely a great match. Definitely what you would expect between two guys that with the caliber of talent and Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles.
Nearly went 30 minutes.
They went 30 minutes. Oh, actually, wow. Nearly. Yeah. So it was a tremendous match. The only thing that I wasn't like a huge fan of was the finish at the end. I know when Cody does that super Cody cutter.
Off the top rope.
I mean, when he does it off the top rope, I mean, as the opponent that's waiting to catch him, sometimes the timing can be off, and sometimes that opponent could be just standing there, just waiting for him. And I felt like that's what I saw with that AJ Styles. So then he hits that move, and then he hits the crossroads. So I thought it was kind of like it was an A match, but it kind of had like a B finish. But that's just a minor nitpick. But the match itself was tremendous. Another negative that I'll take from it, not with the match itself, but with the crowd. You guys remember, like at the tail end, I think like the crowd was randomly singing something.
Mm-hmm. Think so.
Yeah. So I went on X to find that out, and apparently I think that was their national anthem. Or something like something like that. Yeah, so they were randomly sick. I don't know if it was because it hit a certain time during the day and then they just started singing it. I don't know if there was a certain point of the match where action was slowing down and they needed to keep themselves entertained. But that was one part of it I could do away with. But other than that, it was a great match. Like we said, AJ Styles was the perfect first opponent for Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. And obviously matches like this are hard to book, especially coming off of WrestleMania with Cody ending one of the greatest title runs of all time. So obviously going into this match, you already have a good idea that he's going to come out on top. So, so it was already hard. A match like this is already hard to book, but these two guys in a sense did make up for it with the great in-ring action.
Yeah, great match. I love seeing the great shape that AJ Styles is still, can still get in, and his presentation, he just looked phenomenal. My only thing with this, I think I felt like there could have been more build up to this match. I know, it's the first PLE after Mania, so I think we all, like we discussed in the chat, like we all kind of knew what was going down in this Obviously Cody's not losing the title, first PLE.
France made me think for a minute.
Hey, I've been saying this for a while. I want another AJ Styles title run. All these guys like AJ, Randy,
KO,
KO, Sheamus, like these guys, they're getting up there. Let these guys shine, have their moments one last time before their times come. But the fact that AJ just looks so great, I would love to see another title run. And also, I think the fact that how it was just like kind of a clean finish, I think just shows the stamp of how Triple H is running it. It just reminded me of like NXT, like just let the guys wrestle, have their match, just a decisive winner. We're not in that era of all these DQs or falls.
Like the OC didn't come out.
Yeah, like unless there's a full blown story and they're gonna, drag this over like 3 PLEs, it's just like boom. We had a number one contender. He's going up against the champ. He doesn't win, and that's it. Like that's what I always liked about how Triple H ran NXT. During all those takeovers, it was just like, when you had the Andrades versus Shinsuke or the Ricochets and Adam Cole and stuff like it's a decisive winner. And it's just like that's how it should be. Things should just be determined as is. And I thought it was a great match. Cody looked great. The crowd was definitely behind him. He's the number one guy right now, even though Jay was looking pretty good too. But definitely a great match. Hopefully you still get more out of AJ. I hope this isn't his last chase for the title. So
no better first opponent than AJ Styles, right? A guy of his caliber, a credible opponent, has put in so much work. Again, we want to see him with another title run at some point. And for Cody really to show his skill as well as that top guy. And I think when you talk about that stamp and solidifying his place, there's no better opponent. There's no better opponent than AJ Styles in my mind. And Cody's work, it's always impressive. He's getting better. I hope he continues this reign because after the draft and kind of leading up to the draft, it's kind of like he was in limbo, kind of just saying, hey, I'm the champion. I defeated the bloodline. It's like, okay, let's see you actually get in the match. Let's see you actually feud. And we had that face-off on SmackDown Friday before, and it was like, okay, now we're getting into something. Like WrestleMania was so long, like a couple, 4 weeks ago, and we haven't really gotten anything out of Cody outside of these promos and stuff like that. So it's actually good to see him get in the ring and go up against a credible opponent and actually have a feud. I don't know if this is going to be a feud or if just a one-off, whatever the case may be, but it's just good to see him finally get this title reign on the way, rolling out and getting on the way to seeing what he can do.
Honestly, technically, Cody is going to be in limbo until Rock comes back and they eventually have that one-on-one match. I mean, he's gonna have other, be in other feuds and have another title matches. But let's be real, he's holding on to the title until eventually we get that match because of that little segment that they had after on their WrestleMania Raw.
Or until Roman comes back.
I don't think that should be so soon. I feel like after everything, all the build up and everything in Mania with the Rock.
Right. No, you're right.
It doesn't need to even be like at a
it's not going to be so. I'm saying it is going to be down the line, whether it's at SummerSlam or the Rumble. Or
I think what Brian is saying, he's not really going to.
Everything he does up until that point is just going to be Cody. Cody wins.
Like he's not going to lose. Like he's not going to be in a threat to lose until The Rock or Roman comes back. Roman hasn't gotten his rematch.
There's no more rematch clauses.
What?
There hasn't been rematch clauses in 2 years.
He's got to get his rematch. He's got to get his rematch.
Earn a rematch. Yeah, it's true.
A guy who held.
What do you think Cody did?
This is why the glasses.
He's probably not going to get his rematch until the whole Bloodline and Rock shit is over.
Because of comments like that, Lewis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why the glasses.
Did Cody not lose at Mania and have to earn a title shot a year later?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Cody was on Raw. and Roman was on SmackDown. Brand
He
split,
went to
baby.
SmackDown whenever he pleased.
Brand split, baby.
He went there whenever he pleased.
It wasn't
Remember?
official, okay? It wasn't
Remember?
official. It wasn't official business, okay? But
Okay.
overall, Roman Reigns has to get his rematch. He held the belt.
No, I'm saying that's fine, but I'm saying like he's not just gonna come back. Oh, you got a title shot. It's like
yes, he is. If there's anybody in the company that should come back, unless it's The Rock putting himself in that position. If there's anybody else on the roster who should just show up and be like, "I'm your next challenger," it's the guy who held the belt for 4 years.
No, I know, but I
guy.
feel like with I don't know. I feel like with
what do you want, Roman to go through some King of the Ring tournament?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, no, I know that that's an eventual thing. I know that's coming. I'm just saying, I feel like with Roman coming back and getting a title shot is more likely that he might actually beat Cody. And I think no, I know that I'm not against. Let me finish.
I'm just saying I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying I don't know if Roman comes back, he's gonna win. I don't know that.
I feel like he's a huge factor where that's a big possibility. I feel like right now we're in this like Cody's in his reign where like whoever he's getting, he's basically gonna win. And I think it's a time now to create these new stars. We got the Carmelo Hayes, the Ilya Dragunovs, the Dijaks coming in. Like, let's get the ball rolling on some new people. So it's not just, oh, look, he's going to fight AJ. We know he's going to win. Oh, he's going to fight.
Do you want Cody to do what he did in AEW when he was defending the TNT title?
I'm not saying he has to do
like
anything.
I'm
saying I want WWE to establish people and make them look credible. Get a situation where we have a Swerve come up and shows out, and we're like, "Yo,
I am so glad you just said that, Lewis, and we'll get into it when we get to the match."
That's what I'm saying. With all these new people, it's like
I'm so glad you just said that.
We need some new stars.
But yes,
I don't want it just to be like, "Oh, look, Roman's back. He's the only one who can beat Cody." It's like, no, let's build some new stars. Let's create some momentum. Let's create some like.
There is only one star in the WWE when Roman Reigns comes back. Okay, let me just tell you that. Let me just tell you that right now.
What if Roman doesn't even come back?
Yeah.
What?
Man, hey, either one has put in a lot of work, and we got a whole new bloodline coming in. Could it be Solo's time?
Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next match. We have Damian Priest in his first title defense defeating Jey Uso. What do you guys think about this match? And of course, we're going to talk about the entrance of Jey Uso. What do you guys think about it?
I want to go first on this.
Yeah, no, you can go first on this, Lewis.
The end of Judgment Day.
Is it? Whoa.
No, I'm saying I think I've been waiting for this to happen, and I'm very curious to see how it happens and how it's all going to implode, because obviously this has been something that's been hinted at for a while, and I think it's even more of a fate of happening now that Rhea's gone, because I feel like when she was there, she had a title, Damian had a title. It kind of solidified them as a group, but now with her gone and him being like, I don't even need you guys. I'm trying to, and it just kind of, I don't know. I think it's just a change in his character, I guess, because it's like you guys were doing all these things, all these heel tactics to hold your titles for so long. Now you want to be like, no, I'm doing it on my own because I'm the champ. And it's like,
first of all, if you're
gonna go that route, then you might as well just get rid of the Judgment Day.
If anyone's gonna break up the Judgment Day, it's Liv Morgan. But we'll get to that.
Oh,
we'll get to that.
No, Lewis, they're going in that direction.
I know. I haven't fully dove into it, but I saw the little like, oh look, she has the little bandana thing in her pocket. I don't like that angle. It's like, also, how are you gonna replace? How are you gonna replace
also
Rhea with Liv Morgan?
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me talk about the match. But yeah, I mean, match was fine. You know, little hints that maybe Jay could win, but obviously with the Judgment Day coming in to help and everything, I don't know. I'm ready for the implosion to happen. Again, this is another instance where, you know, and not saying it sucks that it was Jay, but I mean, you know, obviously keeping Jay in the main event picture, and hopefully he gets. I mean, I feel like he's been getting a lot of. I've seen this online where it was like, I guess the question is, does Jay actually need a title just because he's so hot right now? Like, I feel like it would elevate him, but does he actually need a title? Because it's like, no matter where he goes, he's in that. He's like in that. He's literally main event Jey Uso no matter what right now. So, I honestly that kind of holds right now. So it doesn't. I don't think it really affects him as much. Him losing these title shots. I feel like eventually it will come, and everybody's going to be super excited when that happens. But this match was a good match. You know, Damien's still looking good as a champ, and I'm just very excited to see where this storyline's going. You know, is he going to be the catalyst to just kind of blow things up, or is like all these things like jealousy and all this stuff, like maybe with Finn coming on and other people like Liv Morgan, which I don't fucking like, but whatever, we'll see.
Well, as far as the match goes, this was a really great match, and a great match for Jay. Definitely a big turnaround from the WrestleMania 40 match against Jimmy. That's actually the one thing that I was thinking about going into this match. I know that obviously when you look back at the WrestleMania match, you know, it was against his brother. They kind of had the same moveset. Something was missing. But then when you see Jay matched up against somebody else, you can clearly see his strengths. I mean, we talked about his entrance, but the thing about how special that entrance was, it's the fact that, you know, we talk about it every week about, you know, where Jey Uso came from, being a tag team wrestler to where he is now, or like Lewis said, arguably the hottest superstar on the roster right now. It's just such an amazing journey. It's an amazing story, and like Lewis mentioned, you alluded to him, and you mentioned, you know, Swerve and how, you know, they need to essentially, you know, push somebody in that manner. And now that the story is essentially finished with Cody Rhodes now, and now they're telling the story of pretty much him having to stay on top now that he's, you know, conquered the giant. I mean, you know, there's always going to be money in the story of somebody chasing the champion. Not specifically Cody Rhodes, but we go to Monday Night Raw. There's always going to be the story of who's that next guy who's coming, who's the next guy to try to, you know, knock the champion off the throne. And I think Jey Uso is that guy. I mean, just not only just the entrance alone, but I also looked up somewhere that I think merchandise wise, he's top 5 now with that Yeet T-shirt, and then the Yeet catchphrase in of itself has gotten over with the audience. So he has all the pieces and all the tools to, in my opinion, to be a top guy. And the fact that he got the entrance the way that it played out shows that, like, you know, he can be a top guy. But to go back to the match itself, obviously, you know, with Judgment Day getting involved. I mean, Lewis. Yeah, I mean, you just wanted an implosion, but I think, especially after Raw, I think they're kind of easing back on that a little bit with them being together. I mean, I think eventually it's gonna come. I mean, me personally, I want it to come because I want to get Demon Finn Balor again. That's my personal preference. But this was a great match, a great first title defense for Damian Priest, and he's gonna be a great heel champion. That first title defense showed it.
I thought it was a good standard match, good outing for Damian Priest. coming out to the ring and having that champion entrance. Having that champion entrance, and then Jey Uso with his entrance, I thought was pretty awesome and cool how he got everybody interacting, and that's a mark of a good true babyface, right? When you get the crowd involved, you get everybody on your side early, and he shows good signs of that. The yeet, as Brian was saying, the yeet, I wasn't a fan of at first, but it's going over with people. It's catching on. People are liking it. So to see Jey Uso organically grow, where it was just like, hey, he's just, where people kind of thought, hey, he's just known because of Roman, like a part of that bloodline story, but to see him go out and branch out on his own is pretty cool to see. So kudos for him for that. As for the match, I like the involvement of the Judgment Days because it's continuing to show that friction, will they, won't they, type of atmosphere on that storyline. And it's just, it's kind of trying to make you think where they're going with Damian as champion, especially even with, is this going to be a long reign? Or is the Judgment Day going to end up costing him the title at some point with their interference and stuff like that? And that's the ultimate factor. So that's something that's going to be out there for sure. And I'm wondering just where they're going to go, because is he going to turn babyface? Because it's like he's been kind of wanting to be honorable and be like, hey, I want to do this on my own. I want to do this. I want to prove that I'm the champion, XYZ. And it's kind of trying to just pick the tea leaves a little bit as they go, kind of slowly developing the story into that. But I don't think the Judgment Day should break up soon, just because of the simple fact that how is the rest of the group going to go? It looks like they're going to go Dominic and Liv Morgan, that type of angle. JD McDonough is going to go to whatever he's going to go to. But is Finn going to be a heel? Is Finn going to be a face after this? What's going to happen? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. But just as the match, I thought it was a good first outing for him. Showing that he can go. We've been talking about Damian Priest for over a year, saying, hey, he should get a title shot. He should be in that moment, see what he looks like, and now he's the champion. So that was a good first outing. I thought it was a good first outing for him, and to get a win over Jey Uso in that manner, kudos to him. I thought it was good.
They're going to replace him with Carlito.
It looks like it's moving into that direction. And
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
oh yeah, the LWO is on Raw now. Yeah,
we'll talk about it. Yeah. But let's get into Bianca and Jade Cargill as the new tag team champions. I keep calling them the two women power trip. I thought it was a solid match. What do you guys think about this match as Jade and Bianca become the new tag champs over the Kabuki Warriors of Damage Control?
It was a great tag team match, and with Jade's matches, moving forward, whether they're tag team matches, because of somebody on here's criticism of Jade as
because Dan doesn't want to hear for some reason.
No, because of y'all. Every time I watch a Jade match now, like I'm specifically like watching now to actually see not only moves, but obviously like improvement, and like it takes me out of it, kind of like takes me out of like the entertainment of the match. So thanks a lot, guys. But
whoa!
I literally just watch her. And then instead of just like enjoying the match and enjoying I barely remember the crowd atmosphere of this match because I was so busy just watching Jade to be sure that she's on point to kind of prove some people's points that she does have different moves and that she has been getting better and she has improved. At the my favorite sequence was at the very end with Kairi saying with what she did countering then she had her in a powerbomb position, and then somehow like flipped her around and got her in position for the Jaded finish, which was impressive. Also, like the double tag team move that her and Bianca did, where I think like Bianca did like a DDT, then like kicked Dakota Kai up, and then Jade Cargill went backwards and did like a German suplex. I like that tag team combo. But all in all, it was a great match. A good match. Unfortunately, the only sad thing about this match is that apparently I think Asuka got injured as a result of it, but which is its own problem in of itself. I think we'll get into it when we talk about the draft. But kudos to Bianca and Jade. Like I've seen improvement with Jade. It's great that they're the tag team champions, and everything looks to be moving in the right direction, because now they're tag team champions, they're gonna have success, and we already know what eventually is gonna happen. So I love the direction. This is the direction that they're going in, and kudos to both women.
And you know what Brian said right. I'm watching this match, and I kept my eye on things as well, and there were things that I saw for sure, like timing was. I'm not gonna give her a giant oh, she did terrible, because like Brian said, that last sequence was amazing. I thought that was she was definitely showing some new stuff, but some of the fears that I said from before, I felt were definitely showing, and only in the instances of I felt like you could see she was trying to talk to Kyrie and Oscar or whatever, hey, what are we doing here? Or hey, are you going there? And there was one move that was just really off. I don't know what it was. She either hit someone, and then she was standing over Kyrie, and then Kyrie just kind of grabbed her legs, and then she fell. And I was
so it was supposed.
I don't know if she was just either losing her place in the match, or which, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna sit here and be I know how WWE matches run, how you choreograph, how you run a whole sequence or whatever. It's probably hard as hell, but obviously it's probably not the same to what she was used to back in AEW. But I think it's just one of my fears of is she gonna be able to pick up this pace fast enough? And this was my only fear. I was there was so much time between her getting signed to now being more consistent on TV. Is she picking it up? Which I think she is, but I think it just showed a little bit more that I think this was the smart thing to pair her with Bianca, to kind of have someone still guide her and not at all just be a giant spotlight on her. Oh, look, she's not really the big shot that we all anticipated her to be. I think it was definitely a great move to put them together. It was a great match. I think it just, for me, I just saw some of those timing things and stuff that I'm I think those are areas that she'll still need work in. But her presentation is great, and I think her and Bianca are definitely a great team, and they're going to be a solid team. And whoever takes them down has to definitely be strong enough to compete on their level. So,
yeah, for sure. I'm not going to be negative Nancy like some people on this podcast. Let's talk about.
I gave her credit. How is that negative?
Hey, you had your time. You had your time. I let you criticize her.
Because when does criticism mean negative? It's all constructive criticism.
I let you crap on Jade.
Oh, now see, I was nice too. I was nice, and now it's crapping on people. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, let me give my thoughts on the match. But no, I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good, solid outing for everyone involved. There was that weird moment in the ring where they had that moment Lewis was talking about, where I thought it was supposed to be an arm bar or something going on, or a roll up or something. And the referee was yo, we got to figure it out and do it again. And they tried to do it again and couldn't get it done, but they recovered nicely. They turned it around to finish the match, and I thought it was a good match. And it's just on the flip side of it, for the Kabuki Warriors, it's they really didn't have a good run with the tag titles. They really didn't do anything with them for 3 months. And I think that was the issue. But overall, the tag titles are going on Bianca and Jade. It's going to be the spotlight. Bianca's one of the biggest stars in the WWE Women's Division. Obviously, the SmackDown #1 pick for a reason. She has star power. She has name recognition, and then to pair her with Jade, I thought that was a good way to kind of help Jade kind of go through the boot camp of WWE in these matches and stuff like that. So I thought it was a good pairing as a tag team. The presentation is great of Jade. I like the finish that she did. It shows that she does have those flashes of potential and stuff like that. And to go from wrestling in front of 10,000 people to turn around and go in front of 70,000 people, to have one of your matches, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, and then Backlash France, that's crazy. I can't imagine somebody as a green person coming in and wrestling in front of all those people and being perfect.
That's a hell of a start.
Yeah, that's crazy intensity. But I think she's doing well. She's showing some flashes, showing some stumbles there. But I think her and just teaming up with Bianca week to week is going to be good. I just think of when Big Show came to WWF with they paired him with the Undertaker as a tag team, and they had that tag team reign they had early on. So it's kind of reminding me of that, kind of like a veteran just leading the rookie in and helping them got it. But I thought it was a good match, solid, and I hope they actually do something with the tag team division on SmackDown. And that's another thing is are they going to be able to float between both shows, 3 shows? That's another thing I wanted to figure out. Like,
yeah,
hey,
they're defending their titles between all 3 brands, I believe.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. Like, that's another thing where they're going to be able to float. So hopefully they actually do something with these tag team titles, especially being on Bianca and Jade. It's like, hey, let's showcase these.
Yeah, they're gonna not. You're gonna see a lot of them too on Monday Night Raw. Watch, especially now with these injuries.
Yeah, so hopefully there's something going on and they can continue to build that women's tag team division. Moving on. Bayley retains against Naomi and Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's title match. What do you guys think about this match? Bayley picking up the win. Again, the crowd. The crowd. Like, every match, we're just going to say the crowd, man. The crowd was into Naomi, Tiffany Stratton. Bayley came out like that. They serenaded her with that song, I Want You to Be My Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good match between all 3 of those women. What do you guys think about that match?
I am slowly starting to become a Tiffany Stratton fan now.
Same.
I think Lewis, I think it was you the one that said that that you weren't like a huge fan of her character because you thought it was too Barbie like, or it was too like, even though that's technically is the character of her being an overly human Barbie, overly female Barbie, but still, even though that was the character, it took a while for me to kind of become interested in her. I mean, her run in NXT was very good. She was NXT champion, but I just felt that it was just something missing with her. But since she's come to the main roster, whatever it is that I thought was missing is definitely there now, and the crowd is definitely seeing it. I mean, she's portraying a heel, but she's starting to get a lot of babyface reactions from some of these hardcore wrestling audiences. When you go back to the match itself, like Daniel mentioned, the crowd. I guess that wherever Bayley goes in Europe, they're just gonna chant that. I guess it's been a trademark for the first time I saw it was back in 2000 NXT days, like back in 2015, 16. So this has been going on for damn near 7-8 years now. So it's a trend. This was a very good triple threat match. The only thing that I didn't like was I thought that the finish was a little too sudden. I think Bayley and Naomi were trading pins, and then Bayley got the upper hand. And it was I literally looked down while they were trading pinfalls, and I heard the 3 count match was done, and I was just like, wait, that's it? That's how
the
you
surprise roll up. Nobody gets hurt, Brian.
Exactly. Nobody gets hurt. I was like, that's it. And then obviously Naomi as a character giving her props afterwards. I'm like, come on, that's it. That's how we're gonna end it. This
Did you want her to turn heel? Did you want her to turn heel, Brian? Did you want her to
No, I didn't want her to turn heel. I was just like, that's it. But obviously, it was the only way, the best way they could go about it, because obviously you didn't want to see Tiffany Stratton get pinned because she's still the newcomer. So from that standpoint, but it was a good triple threat match. But like I said, I just thought the finish was just a little sudden. That's all. But other than that, it was a good match.
Yeah, no, I agree the same thing. I think I felt the same thing. I was like, oh, they're going at it, and then I probably looked away, and then you just hear the bell like ding ding. I was like, wait, what? I was like, but no,
you guys focus on the match. How about that?
That's how good it was.
Now who's being negative? Now who's being the negative?
You guys are being negative. I don't look away during matches. I pay attention to matches. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, because your face is glued the whole entire time. I don't want to hear it. But no, this is a great triple threat. I was actually looking forward to this match, and I think same thing with that quick pin, and them two kind of being the baby faces, and Tiffany. I'm with how fast that was. I'm like, was Naomi gonna have like a heel turn there or whatever? But I think Naomi's like with like her presentation and her character. I think she's just like a natural baby face. Because I do remember when she was a heel.
She can't join the bloodline yet.
Well, how could she? She can't. None of her like immediate family is even there.
My family tree.
I'm saying, that would have worked when everybody was in there. With Jay, Jimmy, Roman everybody was there. None of them are there right now.
Stay tuned, Lewis.
Eventually.
Well, I mean, Jimmy's injured right now, so why would she go? Oh, hey, Solo, can
like I said, eventually,
my husband here?
Stay tuned, Lewis.
No.
Didn't Paul Heyman tell you you're only in the third inning? Didn't he say that?
Well, what benefit?
We all thought he was full of shit.
What benefit would she bring to the bloodline right now? Especially with all these new people coming in. Why would they even need her?
Stay tuned.
Nah, bring in Tamina.
You forgot who the NXT general manager is.
Let's go. Let's
see, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Now, Lewis, you over here talking
that
about
makes more sense.
I mean, Lewis, you over here talking about you want the podcast to be positive, and then you mentioned Tamina, so I don't get it.
I'm just saying, more bloodline. It makes more sense than Naomi. I'm just saying. Anywho, like Brian was saying, yes, I'm becoming a more Tiffany Stratton.
How didn't you guys didn't like her?
I think the only reason I didn't watch her enough in NXT to see her. I probably only saw like the couple interactions before she had that match with Becky, and I was just like, I don't know. It was just like maybe because it was that 2.0. Well, that 2.0.
She came out of nowhere. I'll say that she came out of nowhere.
But then I saw that she was champ, and then I just heard her talk, and I was like, is this all your character is? Like, what else can you do with it? But I think with her athleticism and everything, it's like it's morphing into more of a character. And now that she's on the main roster, I'm like, and I think with her finisher and everything is fucking amazing. And she's hard hitting too. And I think she was able to keep up very well in this match. And I think it just shows like this is like a character right now that's like, look how good she is. Let's get behind. And she's a heel right now, which is like, I feel like a lot of times with heels is like you can just have them lose so much, and then you're like, they're not really like that credible or whatever. But it's like, like Brian said, she didn't take the fall, so it doesn't make her look bad, and it doesn't hurt her character at all. But she's definitely keeping up, and I mean, you got two veterans in the ring right there with Bayley and Naomi, and I think it's just this is how you create new stars, and I think overall it was a great match, and I loved hearing the crowd chant Bayley's thing because I mean that's a homage back to like the NXT days, and that was just great to hear again. And Bayley's just looking solid as a champ right now, so definitely a great match.
For sure, I love this match because I feel like these are women that needed to show out. Naomi's coming back. I was questioning her booking until she beat Tiffany Stratton 2 weeks ago, and then she had her title match 2 weeks ago. Tiffany Stratton comes out, and I like the booking of Tiffany Stratton where they made her look like she was winning all the time. And then she got that loss, and then she had that title. Bayley and Naomi had that title match. She came out and disrupted that and kind of inserted her way into the title match. But overall, this match, I loved, again, the serenade of Naomi when she came out. Everyone's hyped for her theme and coming out. Tiffany Stratton obviously has a big following. Everyone loves her, top to bottom. Like, I don't think there's a negative thing anyone has to say about her at this point right now. And as for Bayley looking strong in this match, I like the physicality of the match as well. What was that Alabama slam that Tiffany Stratton did
to the tables?
Yeah, onto the tables on the outside. Like, that's dope. They went into the timekeepers area. Bayley came out with the suicide dive. I liked where the camera was on that move, and it was so sudden. Tiffany's reaction to it was great. I just like this match was pretty solid, pretty good. But again, as Brian said, the finish, the roll up, it's like I would have liked something else. I would like the finish or something happen. But can't complain. Just the match is good. These matches are good. Triple threats. Some people don't like them. I always like triple threats because it gives different elements and saves that you can put into the match. And this match had that, and it had the impact. Everyone looked good in this match. Bayley picking up the win. Hopefully her reign continues going forward. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton, she's a player. I liked her in NXT. I thought she was pretty good in her moonsault. Like I was sitting there watching Raw, and I'm like, is EO gonna have to change her move soon? Because that's a pretty impressive moonsault from an up and comer, and it's out of nowhere. So it's like, I don't know. I'm like,
it's a good name for like finish too. Like it's a good like package for her and everything that she has going on. So
I'm like, it's crazy. So we're gonna see what happens with this. Bayley's continuing her reign at this moment, and a good triple threat. Everyone looked good in this match, and yeah, let's continue moving on. I thought it was a good match. Let's move on to the Bloodline continuing to add to the lineage on screen. It just does not end. It does not end, ladies and gentlemen. Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa picking up the win over KO and Randy Orton after this match just got turned into the brawl starting the match, made it a no DQ match from Adam Pearce, which raised some eyebrows anyway. I thought for a point that the match was going to get thrown out when he came out, but he made it a no disqualification match. This match was hard-hitting, physical, got the fans involved, went out into the crowd. What do you guys think about this and the newest member of the Bloodline?
All right, I'm gonna be a little funny and controversial when I ask this question. Yo, how many of these niggas are there, bro?
Did you not see the family tree at the
I remember the family tree at the press conference, but obviously I was more interested in what was going to happen than looking at the actual tree and reading the family members. But yeah, this because I wasn't even thinking about Tama Tonga's brother. I'm over here thinking that okay, it's gonna be Jacob Fatu because they had announced, it's been all over social media that they announced that he signed with WWE. So I'm thinking it's gonna be him, and then this guy comes out and I'm like, Tama, that's not Jacob Fatu, is it? I'm like, who's this? And they're like, brother. I'm like, oh. And then I looked them up. I'm like, oh yeah, they were a tag team together in New Japan, Gorillas of Destiny. I remember these guys. So I remember those guys. So I'm like, okay. And but yeah, to see the bloodline grow like this. I mean,
family member number 22.
Exactly. and these are Haku's kids. I mean, we talked about Haku a couple of weeks ago about how like all these former wrestlers have nothing but tough stories about how tough this guy was, and literally how he's the toughest guy ever. And now his offspring are in one of the storyline now. To go back to this match, the tag team match with Randy Orton and KO. I mean, we talked about the crowd again, and I mentioned them singing Randy Orton's theme song, which is something we never heard before. But I loved how it started. Where they started off with a brawl and security had to get involved, because that's exactly how this feud has been. With Kevin Owens getting attacked initially, having that gash on the side of his head. I mean, the feud in nature has been that way, and then obviously the car accident and everything. So the feud was geared to be that way. I loved how it started, and when Nick Aldis came out and said there was going to be no DQ, I think like he said something in French, and then the crowd like erupted to the point where you didn't even give a shit about what else he said, because he pretty much said that, this is no DQ now. You don't have to say it in English. We get it. Ring the bell. Like that's how it came off. But it was your typical your physical hardcore match. They brawled through the audience. The one thing I was looking forward to in this match was that I wanted to see like a little bit of the move set of Tama Tonga. I actually wanted to see like how he moves in the ring, because I saw a couple of highlights and everything. So I wanted to see that. I mean, we didn't get a lot of that.
He got his ass kicked in this match. He was given a lot.
He took the majority of the offense. He had some points, but let's just say like 20% of the time he did something, but the other 80 he was getting his ass kicked. That's being generous. I'm being, but this was a great tag team match. I mean, like Daniel had mentioned, Paul Heyman had said that initially that they were in the third inning, and we all thought he was full of shit. And at one point in time, I was even saying that the storyline jumped the shark with the way the Usos got separated and everything. And he was right. They definitely are in the third inning right now. They're telling this story of Solo Sikoa essentially stepping out in front now, which is something that it's very interesting, because I remember a couple of days ago I was looking through my Facebook reels, and I came across like an old segment from NXT 2.0 where like they had all of the participants that were going to be in like a ladder match for the North American title, and Solo was talking about why he should win, and it dawned on me. It dawned on me that, like, yo, this guy can really talk. I mean, we forget about all that because he's been in the bloodline, being the enforcer, being quiet, looking tough. But you forget that, like, yo, this guy can actually talk. He can carry it. He can cut a promo. So that's going to be very interesting, moving forward. That now that he's stepping forward and being the new lead, essentially the new leader now. With his version of the bloodline, so it's definitely going to be very interesting moving forward.
And he's the youngest member of the bloodline.
Yeah, he's the youngest member. But as far as Tonga Lao goes, Tama Tonga's brother. I mean, just from a look standpoint, he's definitely physically intimidating. I mean, he did everything he needed to do. Moving forward, I think moving forward, I think those two are going to be presented as a tag team, which probably is the best bet. So it's going to be very interesting. Now we got Gorillas. You got the Gorillas of Destiny on your roster now, and you got the OC on your roster. So that's a classic. That's a classic
titles are in jeopardy. Those new tag team titles in jeopardy.
No, this is a good show. I think same thing that Brian said. I was looking to see more of Tama Tonga. I haven't watched a lot of his matches, but I do remember, like, I think I remember seeing like him with like the whole face paint with like the Gorillas of Destiny and New Japan and stuff. But I haven't really watched the matches like that. So, and yeah, I think same thing. When I was trying not to see spoilers, I was like, oh, look, this person came out. I thought it was Jacob Fatu too, and then there was like, who the hell's this other guy? And then I guess it's like, oh, it's his brother, and they were a tag team. And I was like, wow. I'm like, they're just bringing everybody in. And it's funny. I saw a thing today. It was a reel. I forget at what point it was. I think it was when it might have been right before the Usos were going to tag against Roman in Saudi Arabia. And it just shows like, oh, you know who might look good as the tribal chief? That man right there. And then it's like they're talking about Solo, and then Roman's like, what? And it's just like, look at where we're at now. And I like how they haven't fully explained what's going on. Like, is Roman letting this happen? Is Roman gonna come back and have to handle stuff? Paul Heyman doesn't have his phone anymore, so he's not in contact with Roman. So it's like,
you can't get a new phone. You can't get a new phone.
Exactly. I mean, they alluded to that on SmackDown when they said that, like, Paul Heyman that said like he hasn't been in contact with Roman since WrestleMania. Which was very.
They need to do a skit of Paul Heyman going to like a payphone trying to call Roman Reigns.
Or trying to borrow someone's phone.
That should be a thing. A little gag they did.
It's just really interesting because, like, especially when that segment on, I think it was during the PLE when they walked past Jay and they're like,
it was after their match.
And then Paul Heyman's like kind of like, help me, like I don't know what I'm doing right now. These guys might kill me. It's just like, yo, this is great storytelling right now.
Save me, bro.
Paul Heyman is just,
them. This is family.
Yeah,
his facial expressions.
He doesn't have to say anything, and he tells the story.
Exactly. He's just like, yo, help me.
It's amazing, but I figured we weren't going to get a lot of like wrestling back and forth once it became a street fight, and it was just going to be more of this. Fighting on the crowd, tables, all this, that. So and then with the surprise happening, I kind of expected. So it's just making the bloodline thing much stronger, and it did what it needed to do. Obviously Randy and KO still look great, but I wonder where they're gonna go for if they're just gonna keep feuding with the bloodline. Are they gonna find somebody else to help them out? Is there gonna be another 3-on-3, another, or is this gonna be I don't know where they're really going with all of this.
They lost, so you would presume that they're still going to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie, when they were walking out, I was like, are we gonna get a Randy turn now? Like, oh, they lost again, and is he gonna turn his back on KO because they've been too buddy-ish? It's funny that recently now, not recently, but these last I want to say last iterations of Randy is whoever he's aligning himself with, he's just becoming best friends with. First it was Riddle, now it's KO. So it's just are we gonna get a heel Randy at some point? Because he is the Viper, and I think it's always just lingering there. And when is that turn actually gonna come, or is it ever gonna come? Who knows? But it's always in the back of my mind. I was like, "You gonna do it?" So. But definitely still a good outing, and we'll see where it goes from there.
This match was a blur to me. I thought it was just hard-hitting chair shots, tables, punches, kicks thrown. And sometimes that's all you need. You don't need to have any. These guys have been building up at each other, attacking each other. And it was good to just get another chapter into this feud, right? But to add in another Gorilla of Destiny, his brother, as Brian said, how many guys are of this family? It's just another one, and it wasn't even the one that we expected, right?
Exactly.
We didn't hear anything about his brother signing to WWE. We didn't hear anything about it. No. So we heard about Jacob Fatu signing, who hasn't debuted as yet. So you're wondering when the hell is he going to come out, right? So it's just they just continue with the surprises, and when he comes, we're going to be surprised. When Roman comes back, we're going to be surprised. All this stuff is just crazy right now. But it was just a lot of energy in this match. As I said, Tama Tonga got his ass kicked for 85% of the match. That's what I remember, him just getting his ass kicked and stuff like that. He had a couple moments, but just a big brawl, big affair. I like that move that they did off the top rope into the chairs. Kevin Owens, what is that? Cannonball type thing.
Oh yeah,
the fisherman drop, either fisherman driver he does from the top.
Yeah, that move is dope all the time. But yeah, the Bloodline picking up the win. Love that they're continuing to add new ripples into this storyline. I like the behind the scenes, they're always interacting with each other, and especially with Jimmy getting taken out. Jay's there. They have that interaction in the back there with Paul Heyman and stuff like that in the Bloodline. It's going to be interesting. It's going to get interesting. But Backlash France, man, the energy, because it was kind of like we were in limbo after WrestleMania, right? Everything was kind of trying to figure itself out, especially with the draft. And to get this PLE and to have this great crowd, to have these great matches was dope. And it was worth the wait. And I like the fact that it was on Saturday. It gave it a little more room to breathe. But yeah, WWE hitting on all cylinders. And they continue to hit on all cylinders as we get into... Come on, Mouse. We get into the King and Queen of the Ring, taking place in Saudi Arabia. May 25th, I believe, is the date. Let's bring it up here. I have the bracket on the side here, and we'll bring up the bracket. And we'll bring up the bracket. It was announced on. Was it at the PLE they announced it?
It was at the PLE. Yeah,
they announced the Raw. They announced the Raw matches, and now we got a little bit of SmackDown added in. I'm using Wikipedia, so who knows? But we had Gunther and Sheamus in the first round, and the main event of Raw the other night. We'll get into that. Kofi Kingston versus Rey Mysterio, Ricochet versus Ilya Dragunov, Jey Uso versus Finn Balor, and in SmackDown, it looks like we're going to have AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, Baron Corbin versus Carmelo Hayes.
Is that official?
It looks like it's on Wikipedia, so I'm just reading it off Wikipedia. It could change.
All right. So with SmackDown, we don't know for sure. This is them predicting what they think we're gonna get.
Yeah.
Let me say cards subject to change. There we go.
Say that. Yeah, we already
just
know how
in case they change on SmackDown. But that is the Raw. And then on the women's side, we have Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega. Io Sky defeated Natalya. Dakota Kai. Lyra Valkyrie defeated Dakota Kai. Zoe Stark defeated Ivy Nile. And we're going to get the SmackDown women at some point. But King of the Ring is back. What do you guys think about the King of the Ring coming back? That's not the camera I want to use. What do you guys think about the King of the Ring coming back, and the matchups that we got on Monday Night Raw, especially with the main event in Gunther and Sheamus? We know what those guys bring to the table, but to see that type of match and see that type of intensity continuing, and we continue to get these good matches out of Sheamus. But what do you guys think about that first one, Sheamus and Gunther in that main event?
All right, Luz, you can go first.
It was a good match. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed that what's his face came in and interfered. I was hoping it was gonna be more of a one-on-one banger with him and Sheamus, but I guess for story purposes, I guess it made more sense to have him out just because. And props to Sheamus because I feel like after all the criticism he faced from his return about what shape he came back in, I think a lot of people were looking at like, hey, you look like you
what was that?
like
2
bounced
weeks?
back a little bit.
2 weeks? In 2 weeks, he lost all of that?
Before you continue, I believe it. Now, can you watch his YouTube series, Celtic?
Oh, no. I believe it. But it's just like
I believe that he did that. So
in 2 weeks, he lost it. In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. I believe it.
Hey, mind you, I do some of the workouts he be doing with some of the people in there, and I'm like, yo, these guys go hard. I think I tried to do what's his face, Austin Theory's like arm workout. This dude's over here doing like 100 reps. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, this is like ridiculous.
That's how you stay ready.
Yeah,
I need to get on it.
Yep. So yeah, Sheamus came out looking great. They definitely. I think also Sheamus is starting to look his age a little too. The fact that he still goes at this level is crazy.
I mean, they wrestled. Let me see. Huh? They wrestled for 21 minutes. So
I think there was just that one moment. I don't know if it was like after I forget what movie, but it was just like Sheamus just got up. He was just like, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think you keep going these banger paces that you want to keep going, but
you gotta work on cardio a little bit. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, age catches up with everyone, but good match between them. Gunther is kind of might be my top pick for winning this whole thing just because after his long ass IC title reign, this kind of just makes I think my question is with this whole King, is this going to lead to a title opportunity? I hope it's not just. I hope it's not just. Oh, I'm king, and now I'm the new character of King whatsoever. Like I feel like
it's a title match. It's a title match.
That
has been confirmed.
Has that always been the thing? Was that the thing in the past? It wasn't, right?
Nah, for like the last 3 or 4 of them, it wasn't like that.
I know those weren't, but in the so
usually the King of the Ring, they either move to a mid-card title or they're the mid-card title champion, and then they elevate themselves into main event status. That's what usually happens.
But I think this is the smarter route to go. Like this should lead, like, okay, you're the King of the Ring, but this should lead to a title shot, and I think that's definitely where it should go. And yeah, like I said, I think Gunther is definitely one of my top picks for this whole thing. I got to look at all the brackets, but between him, I mean, whoever's on SmackDown is definitely going to have their hands full. I mean, I also do hope that we get a Gunther Dragunov match because that's going to be insane. Because if anyone's ever watched, when he either beat Gunther for the UK title, that match was brutal.
And they are setting up for a Raw win.
That was that match.
Yes.
That was that match.
That's where I feel like Gunther's chops became synonymous because this man beat this man's chest into oblivion. So yeah, Gunther is definitely showing out. I just hope what's his face Ludwig isn't helping them throughout the whole thing because I don't know. I just feel like
I thought he was going to be in the tournament. I thought he was going to be on the other side at some point, but I guess they're trying to keep him away or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good match, hard hitting match. You know what you're going to get with those two guys. Yeah, just again, I love the King of the Ring. I love tournaments like this, and especially it looks like they actually took it seriously instead of just having some throwaway matches.
Like we mentioned what we mentioned during the last episode. And also when talking about Sheamus and Gunther, it was a great match. But I think Sheamus posted a photo on social media afterwards of how like beat red his chest was.
Yeah.
Caption that says there won't be a part 3. So
he's like, "No, I'm done. I'm gonna start wearing D'Lo's chest protector out there."
But as far as the tournament goes, for the King of the Ring, on Raw side, I mean those were great matchups, especially Ricochet and Dragunov.
And they're getting time.
They're getting time. Now, obviously, it's unfortunate that Drew McIntyre is injured right now, that they had to take him out. But in a way, I thought it was a good thing because it adds to the story with him and CM Punk. Because now he can be like, yeah, now I got to take it out.
But is he actually injured though? I think
it is. I think his elbow really is messed up though. I
feel like it just, I don't know. Maybe they just played it off very well, but it's like everything they did on Raw. Like I feel they just played out so perfect. It's like, is he really injured though? So. That was
I think they're both like not there yet, but they're getting close. Yeah. But them putting Jay in was a great idea. Was a great move. Because now I'm seeing like more than likely he might end up making the finals. Because he's so hot right now. But then going over to the women's side. Not having Oscar in this tournament because I think Dakota Kai ended up taking her spot.
I was so mad because I wanted to see that match.
Exactly, I wanted to see the match between her and Lyra, number one, but number two. For God's sakes, the women. I mean, the women's division. I mean, that injury bug is just crazy right now. Because I always go back to who I consider the top 5 women, and now three of them are down. I mean, two of them just went down, and one of them is on her way back. We don't know, but we're thinking hopefully sooner rather than later.
That's what's going to be. Charlotte's going to insert herself into the finals, and
we need Charlotte. I mean, they need a Charlotte right now, and that's why I was saying that Jade and Bianca being tag team champions is actually going to be a good thing for Raw because now they're probably going to be a lot of Jade and Bianca on Raw now because they're down. They're two of their top women. But when you look at the women's field, I mean Lyra's really the only one that really like stands out. Yeah. Unless they want to finally give give what some people have been asking for and finally push Shayna Baszler like the threat that she should have been pushed, that she wasn't in NXT.
Time's passed.
You think the ship is sealed, man? Yeah. You think the ship is sealed?
Io Sky's in the tournament. Io should.
Oh yeah, Io should. And Io is a favorite as well. But
it had a good match with Natalya, by the way. I just want to put that out there.
Negativity.
Yeah,
that's positivity, all right? That's positivity, all right?
Yeah. Negatively received.
Yeah, but definitely moving forward, like Daniel said, I love these tournaments. I love the fact that they're actually taking it seriously as well. When I think about the King and Queen of the Ring, I always think that like it always fits best on a heel because the heel can literally take the crown, make something out of it and become a great character, a la Booker T.
I don't want them to do that. I want them to be. It's okay calling them the King or the Queen of the Ring. I don't want the whole crown and scepter and
but some guys can actually take it and becomes top star.
It worked.
In recent years, it hasn't worked. But if the right person has it, they can make something out of it.
And you gotta say it right, Brian. King Booker.
Booker.
But no, again, Ilya Dragunov had a good showing on Raw. being drafted to Raw. Ricochet against the Speed Champion. They had a good match. Jey Uso, of course, picking up the win over Finn Balor. Creating more friction in that whole Judgment Day storyline. Lyra Valkyrie had a good showing against Dakota Kai. Zoe Stark beat Ivy Nile, which is the only kind of shaky match of the night, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But let's get into other stuff that happened on Raw. Obviously, Drew McIntyre was pulled from the King of the Ring tournament, which is unfortunate because you figured that would have been his calling card to get back to the title picture. But as he was leaving the arena because he couldn't be medically cleared, CM Punk arrived. What do you guys think about CM Punk's promo there on Monday Night Raw?
All right. I'm gonna just say this. Since CM Punk has been back, he's been hitting home runs. That promo that was his first ground ball. In my opinion, it wasn't the way he was speaking or what he was saying. It was just the fact that because he cut the promo talking about Drew and how Drew had left the arena, and pretty much how Drew was leaving, he was pulling in, and how pretty much he was trying to get like people to go on social media to say that he's there. That way, Drew can turn around and come back.
Hey, Drew is on social media a lot.
He is on social media a lot, but if they planned it out to the point that where Drew was never going to come back, then I feel as though the promo shouldn't have gone in that direction. I felt that everything he said was work. Come back. Exactly. If Drew had come back, then CM Punk's promo was a home run. Everything he said is a home run. But because Drew didn't come back, the promo kind of fell flat to me. But that's just how I take it.
Yeah, I think to that point it was kind of like, because it almost sounded like he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wait here until he comes back," blah blah blah, and then he never did. So it was like, what was the whole point? But I don't know. I feel like with Punk coming out, it's always like a special occasion, and everybody wants to see him right now, just because he's just a big attraction. And I don't know where this feud's going, or we don't know where they both are with their stuff. I feel like that's why I'm like questioning the whole Drew injury, because I'm like, how much are you guys gonna do this whole like them seeing each other stare down, kind of promos against each other before they actually have a match?
I think that's where we're at. This feud is like, when are you guys going to fight each other?
Exactly. I'm just like, if this drags out for like another like month, it's gonna get boring. And I'm like, we can't have this every single week or every we can't have it like every week. They're just like trading jabs. It's like, all right, can we like get a fight? Can we get like security breaking you guys up, like, or interrupting matches or whatever? Like let's get the ball rolling. So I think that's just my thing, because I'm like, you've already been going at this before. Basically after the Rumble, So it's like this has already been going on for a while. So who knows where they actually are with these injuries, and let's kind of just get this started.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of whack that Drew was leaving as he was coming in. I would have rather them try to have like a little altercation, like maybe security gets in between the both of them and they like Drew drives off. Maybe that would have added a little bit more to it, but it's like, okay, Drew's leaving. I don't know if CM Punk's coming back. Standard CM Punk promo for me. CM Punk has these passionate promos. He comes out, he says what he needs to say. And it's kind of like that's what it is, but it's like we haven't really seen him wrestle, of course, because of the injury and stuff like that. And now there's an injury to Drew. So you're just wondering what direction this is going to be. CM Punk looks jacked right now whenever he comes back. So we're going to see what happens with that. And I hope these guys just wrestle each other, and hopefully they get healthy and get cleared and can actually wrestle, because I think that's what everybody's waiting for. We're waiting for CM Punk was signed back in when? November,
yeah.
He had that injury at the Royal Rumble, and that's really been it. So I think that's where we are with this feud, and it's unfortunate that if Drew's really hurt or they're playing it up or whatever the case may be, but
so I just realized. So is that going to be like a thing now with certain like big time WWE stars that go away and come back? When they initially come back, they'll be around for like a month, then they'll get hurt, then they make the triumphant return, and then they'll really start their run. Is that going to be like a trend now?
Hey,
Cody, now it's Punk. So like, is that going to be a trend?
Luckily, WWE, they got to get used to the ropes. They got to get used to the mats. That's what it is. They got to get used to how their rings and how they do their regiments and stuff like that. But it just sucks. Like the injury bug, I remember all the women in NXT tearing their ACLs for like a year. I think somebody else just got hurt. Was it Cora Jade or somebody got hurt the other day?
Yep. Cora Jade came back after a month and then got hurt again. Like it was
so she tore her ACL.
Tore ACL. Like
it's like crazy. What's going on? Like, are they checking? Get a knee doctor in here. Get a knee. Like, let's protect all the.
Literally a month, like 1 month back on the shelf.
Yeah, like it was Sol Ruka. It was Nikita Lyons. Like everybody was just tearing their ACL.
She's down again too.
Yeah, she just got hurt. So it's like, man, hey, they got to start drinking milk or something. But just all these injuries happening. It sucks. But hopefully CM Punk and Drew can actually have this promo. I don't want this dragged out. Like, King of the Ring, and then July is Money in the Bank, I think. Let them fight at Money in the Bank or something, or be in the Money in the Bank match or something. And then they screw each other all over, and then we lead into SummerSlam, something. But I just feel like we're at this point in time where we need these guys to go at each other at some point. Let's get into another one. Liv Morgan challenges Becky Lynch for the women's title.
Luce's favorite program.
You guys aren't liking the Liv Morgan storyline? Oh, come on, guys.
I'm gonna just
you tell me, Daniel. You like the Liv Morgan storyline? Be honest, sir.
There's some intrigue there, especially with the
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Exactly what I was gonna say, Daniel. Like, it's like I'm not a huge fan of it, but it makes sense.
Do I think she's a challenger for the title? No. No, I do not think so.
You don't think she's a challenger?
Kind of, but it makes sense. Everything that's going on with her makes sense.
I don't think. Again, Liv Morgan, she has to show me in ring that she's there. She had some good matches with Nia Jax. Again, I gave her kudos for Elimination Chamber, but I got to see more. I got to see more before I put her in that title position. She's getting put there right now as they're setting up this title match with Becky Lynch at King of the Ring. So that is happening. But I'm just a little bit more intrigued of the Dominic Mysterio storyline. That's where my mind is in Rhea Ripley and how that's going.
See, my thing is like, and I'm not gonna lie, I have seen like from the matches like with Nia and stuff, I have seen improvements, and I'm like, okay, she can go, she's getting better in the ring, showing out more, but I don't know if it's.
I'm not there yet.
If it's like a Natalia situation, I'm just like, not that you need a character change, but it's more like the way you cut promos, and it's just not. It's not doing it for me. It's not a viable contender right now. She just sounds like whiny and stuff, and it's just like, where is this going?
That should be her character. She should lean into that.
I know. I don't know. Maybe.
What do you want? Liv Morgan to be some type of Raha?
I'm not saying that she has to be some type of character. I'm just saying I don't know if it's like the delivery of her promos, or it's not believable to me. Like none of it like seems like a legitimate contender type. Like she's actually gonna win. And I think we all kind of see it. We're like, all right, you're going to go against Becky and probably lose. It's just
what they need to do with Liv Morgan is have her just take out people. That's what she needs to do.
Who's she taking out? I'm still surprised that she's beating Nia.
How she took out Rhea Ripley backstage. Just have her take out people. That's how you mean
actually injure them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You want to run that risk again? Like next thing you know, six people on the injury report, and then
there's your injury bug. There's your
play into it. Liv Morgan is dangerous. She's unstable to work with, and she weasels her way to the championship. But her and Becky going at it. Becky needs a challenger, and this is the first challenger that she's going to get. It's not Nia Jax. So
I will say this though, and I'm going to mention the AEW when I say this, because when AEW was going through their injury spell, they needed someone to step up, and that was Swerve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now for the women's division on Raw now, They need someone to step up, and it has to be Liv Morgan, sadly now. And it has to be her because who else
Asuka's
are you
hurt.
go with?
Asuka's hurt. Charlotte's hurt. Rhea's hurt.
Who else realistically on that roster are you gonna go with right now? That's healthy and that you can somewhat see
that's
as a
crazy. I was about to say Nia, and I'm like, wait, she's on SmackDown now.
She just got drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah, Nia's on SmackDown. Yeah, so can't go with her.
Wait,
it has to be Liv.
So wait, did they announce all the matches for the Queen of the Ring on SmackDown, or no?
Just the Raw matches. They haven't
just
announced
the Raw matches.
Okay. So Raw has Becky, Liv,
Charlotte, Rhea,
which two are injured.
Damage Control. All of Damage Control of who's left.
What's left?
Let me see. I'm looking at the draft right now. Kiana James, who just got called up from NXT. Ilya and Alba Fire and Ilya Alza Dawn, that tag team that
Isla Dawn or whatever.
Yeah, that didn't come up. Shayna Baszler's on Raw. Zoe Stark, of course. Damage Control running through here. Zelina Vega is there as well, so hopefully she gets some shine.
I prefer Zelina than Liv.
Zelina Vega is
she's better. She's way better on the mic than her. I'll give her that.
Exactly.
Way better.
And that's what I mean. Look at literally both of them in stature. They're practically kind of the same thing. Maybe Zelina's a little bit smaller, but I don't know if it's just the promo delivery. It's just like I can't fully get behind Liv. I don't know if it's her voice or what it is. I just don't. I don't mess with it.
Yes, yeah. There's something. But you mentioned Zelina Vega. Now that you talk about people needing to step up, I mean, we gotta get her out of the LWO now because
they don't necessarily have to get her out of the LWO.
She just needs to do her own thing.
They have to put her in. They have to put her in the position to chase a heel champion, and what better heel champion than Liv Morgan?
I mean, that could work. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's the state of the women's division, but I'm just not wanting another Becky title run. I'm like, can we get the title off of her like as soon as possible?
And I feel like that's probably the position she's gonna do right now. Like I feel like
Becky's supposed to be on vacation right now. It's like,
like let her go. Like
honestly, now that you guys mentioned that, if she loses to Liv, and then we get maybe a Zelina feud, I'm for it. But
we got to see who's on the SmackDown women's side first. That's
if this whole like judge, I feel like I don't know. I feel like it would be such a huge slap in the face if Liv really is in the Judgment Day. Like to Rhea. Come on now. Like she literally just left.
I don't think she's gonna be in the Judgment Day. I think she's gonna break up the Judgment or get Dom away from the Judgment Day.
What could they possibly say for Dom wanting to be like, hey, Liv, we're going to do the it's like, what possible reason or explanation could they give?
Hey, you got to leave Liv Morgan. He's like, hey.
Wait, you mean you got to leave Mommy?
You got to leave new Mommy.
You got to leave this Mommy for
this Mommy? They already showed. She doesn't beat me. She doesn't beat me. This one treats me nice.
All that masculinity
got to be too much. All that masculinity got to be too much.
Hey.
She was on top too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Mommy's always on top. He got time.
Exactly. He got time. We're laughing right now, but that's probably going to be a promo in the coming months.
Oh
my back couldn't take it.
That's probably going to be a promo of him saying, "Well, you always say mommy is on top, but what about me?" That's going to be in a promo whenever Rhea comes back.
I'm just saying, man, that's the angle they're going to play. I mean, they already showed them leaving the locker room together. They already showed that. They already showed the bandana in the pocket. They're building up to that. They're building up to that. So,
and it makes sense because, like she said, she wanted to take everything from Rhea, which includes the title. She injured her, and now she's gonna take him in. So it makes sense.
That would be crazy. That'd be a crazy angle. That would be a
hey, this is the way they make Rhea officially a babyface.
Yeah.
That's how they make that turn completely happen.
I guess.
But that is hilarious. And then that's how you can start breaking up the Judgment Day. Hey, you guys let Dom go while I was gone. What happened?
Yeah.
Anything like that. That's pretty much what they're going to be going. Whatever leaning into Liv Morgan. So Liv Morgan, the neighbor next door, messing up Judgment Day, messing up title reigns, messing up relationships. It's getting testy out there in the waters of WWE. But yeah, King and Queen of the Ring, can't wait to see that. Anything else you guys want to talk about? AEW, what's going on with AEW? I know Kenny Omega came back, got hurt on a stretcher again.
Yeah. I mean, they have their biggest show coming up in 2 weeks. From what I saw on Dynamite, I ain't really. I mean, they Adam Copeland had a good main event match against Brody King for the TNT title. It was a very physical, typical hardcore match. I think Kenny Omega cut a promo from a hospital bed, pretty much challenging the Elite to a 4-on-4 Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing. FT, so it's going to be.
Is he prepared for that? He just got hurt again.
He's not wrestling in it. It's going to be the Elite against what he's coining as Team AEW, which is going to be FTR. And they announced at the end of Dynamite that the other two are going to be Eddie Kingston and Bryan Danielson. So it's going to be those four against the Elite at Double or Nothing, which yeah, I mean it's going to be a great match, but at the same time it's like. I mean, if you don't actually have Kenny in the match, it's like,
what's the point of the match actually taking place?
If you're not gonna, what was the point of the attack? I mean, if he's not cleared yet, so because this feud kind of needs Kenny Omega right now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
With the Elite taking over AEW and taking out Tony Khan, they kind of need Kenny Omega. So
for sure. But yeah, that will do it for this episode of Ring Takes. We'll continue to go down the line with the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. That should keep us occupied, and I like the fact that those are taking up time on Raw and SmackDown. So you don't necessarily need the Bloodline or the title picture in there for these certain matches and events and stuff like that. But definitely like the change that WWE is going through right now, the Triple H era that we're in right now. So definitely enjoying that. But we'll continue to go down the road with that and see what happens on this wild world of wrestling. As always, thank you guys for joining me. And until next time.